get... There it is. Oh, wow. There's actually a thing there.
What?
There's actually an overlay.
Oh.
Like a thumbnail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, wow. All right. Sweet. That works.
I didn't know we had set that up. Definitely wasn't me. All right. Waiting for 3 p.m. It is 3 p.m. So
And we are live.
We
are live.
Go. Oh, and ads are playing. Lovely.
All right. Well, good to see everybody. Welcome to Straight Shoot. How you guys doing? Hopefully you're going to enjoy this very first live stream with myself and Teshk. Buddy, how you doing today? You're sipping on something warm from the looks of it.
Yeah, see, I'm not left-handed, and for some reason I have many left-handed cups. So my Santa Claus looks normally during the year like just a red cup, but it's actually Santa Claus running to get everybody's toys and wrestling hot takes as fast as we can.
You got a sneaky Santa there.
I got a sneaky Santa. So dude, listen, I've been good. We have a lot to cover today, like we have in our description. And guys, if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure you like the channel and leave a comment below saying you want to see more of this. We have a lineup. Let the people in the chat know, and also let the people on the videos know what we're going to be discussing today, because damn, do we have a Fallout weekend. Like, what a weekend we had.
Ever. Oh my God, it was a crazy week, but like we got even a crazier show, like you said. Like we've got a lot of big talking points today. We're just going to give you a quick little rundown of what's in store for you guys. We are going to talk about CM Punk, and that is a hot topic right now in the world of wrestling. Is he coming to WWE? Is he not coming to WWE? And all of your hot takes with it. So we'll get into that one. We're also going to talk about Austin Theory and what he needs to do to take it to the next level. For those of you that were in my stream chat the other day, you guys know we had a heavy conversation about Austin Theory, so we're going to dive into it some more here today. We're also talking about, is there too much Roman? Now, just right off the top of your head, is there too much Roman, Teshk?
No, absolutely not. I think the one thing that we have to remember, and we'll dive more into this, is every time Roman is on screen, there is more viewers watching the show. So
you know when there's more viewers watching the show as well, when LA Knight takes the screen, and we're going to talk about what's coming next for him. And the final thing, man, WARGAMES.
WARGAMES. Can't wait for that, and that's one of my favorite ones. But before we dive into this, I just want to say hi to a couple of the people. French Fries, Drew, Rahul, Ashton, The Bloodline, DeMarco, one of my mods, J-Dog, and Jake, the Tribal Chief. Everybody in the chat, what's up, guys? Don't forget to hit that like button, and make sure, if you aren't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Kick it off. CM Punk.
Wow. All right. So where do you begin with Mr. Phil Brooks? He left AEW on bad terms. He left WWE on bad terms. He's pretty much left the wrestling world on bad terms, yet we still want him back.
Do we?
Everybody wants to see him back. Well, I mean, I'm not sure. Do you want to see him back? Your face right there tells me different.
I'm so done with CM Punk. I am so done with the conversation of CM Punk. I'm so done with my chat always being like, oh, was CM Punk returning in Chicago at Survivor Series? Who cares? CM Punk, Seth Rollins said it months ago, maybe last year. He said it perfect. And CM Punk lived those words to a T in AEW. CM Punk is a plague on the wrestling community. He divides the IWC. He is one of the most toxic human beings when it comes to professional wrestling. And we saw it back in 2010 when everybody was loving him going up against the authority that were Triple H and Vince McMahon and Stephanie. And granted, back in 2010, 2011, it was great television. But it is television. You have to move away from your character and learn how to do business. And that's one thing CM Punk has not learned how to do. He is a horrible businessman, but he's a great sports entertainer, but he doesn't know how to divide the two.
So do you think he might be able to divide the two then when he comes back? Because like what I hear right there is great TV with Phil on it. Great TV with CM Punk around, but drama. Now, wrestling has always had drama in it. Wrestling has always been more exciting when reality is blurred with the fiction. You know, reality, it's happening. It's part of the story going on. And so why not let us see it? Now, CM Punk here, he is somebody who has let us see a lot going on behind the scenes in wrestling. You know, whether it be the podcast with Colt Cabana or whether it be his recent outings in AEW, going on to the Brawl Out, you know, like whatever you want to call that, the press conference, right?
Yeah.
Look, we've seen behind the scenes with Punk, and we know he's a toxic individual, but he draws money, man. He draws big money, he draws big viewership, and he makes the show 10 times more exciting when he's on it. So why wouldn't you try it for a little bit? Is it just because of what he's done in the past?
Listen, everyone says, like, when you have a resume, right? And what happened at your last position? Oh, I was fired. Why? Oh, we all know why CM Punk was fired. It's been publicly put out. At most jobs, that doesn't get put out there. But publicly, CM Punk has been put on blast for the way he left WWE, the way he left AEW. And it's one of those ones where if you have a track record, companies don't want to hire you. If you have a track record of theft or being a miserable human being, then yeah, you're not going to get hired. It's the same for guys like CM Punk or Jeff Hardy. If you have a track record of substance abuse and keep getting arrested and showing up at shows all messed up, why are they going to take a chance on you? You know, you have to prove yourself. That's a fair point. You have to prove yourself. Here's the biggest part. The person that CM Punk dislikes the most in professional wrestling, in Paul Levesque, is his boss. And you have to listen.
Well, hang on. Does CM Punk actually have issues with Triple H, or did he have an issue with the circumstance at the time?
I think
because I feel like that was he was miserable being there in WWE, and he took issues to the fact that Triple H didn't want to put him over. That's wrestling, you know, like that's just wrestling politics. I don't know if that necessarily is having beef with Triple H per se. He had beef with the situation, and that type of beef can be squashed, and especially someone like Triple H, who is the boss now, when he wasn't the boss back then, right? He should be able to look past any of those issues if there's money to be made. But something we heard recently was that potentially CM Punk was going to be on a call with some of the board members from WWE. This, I don't know if there's any truth to this or not, because again, it's the internet, right? Anything can be said. But if that's the case, that to me screams like CM Punk is being heavily considered for coming back. And let's say if he comes back, man, who should be the first feud for Punk if he were to return? What could make the biggest impact in your opinion?
Seth Rollins. There's only one answer. You want it. You want to create drama. You want to create feud. They use that interview that Seth Rollins threw out, dressing like a denim cowboy and saying that CM Punk is a plague. You want to have a shoot promo session that what CM Punk is good at, and a version of Seth Rollins we haven't really ever seen. That's the only conversation, is Seth Rollins.
I love that thought right there with Seth Rollins. Now, out of the gate, though, is that the best way to go? Because that's a huge story that they can draw some big money on. Like, that feels like that could be a Royal Rumble type of match, you know, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, or hell, even a WrestleMania if you really wanted to push it all the way to there. It's a big time matchup. So is that the best thing to do right out of the gate? Like, I know it worked with Cody.
Slow play it. Slow play it. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm
you don't have to have even an in-ring confrontation. It's like, you remember that segment of Stephanie and Punk in the backstage where he goes to Stephanie goes to shake his hand and he's just like, I would, but I know where that hand's been.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You replay it. But Punk is doing an interview backstage with, I don't know, Hide Your Husband's Jackie Redmond. And sorry,
Jackie's so dirty. Why?
Oh, you know why, dude. You're from the GTA. You know why I said that. Anyways, but yeah, no. And then you just have Punk having an interview with Jackie Redmond, and Seth just steps in, and he goes to shake his hand, and Seth goes, I kind of know where you've been, and walks off. You know what I mean? And that sets it on that.
But like, okay, so the slow play. So you slow played that. Like, that's the big end goal, to get to CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at a Big Four pay-per-view, whether it be Rumble, whether it be Mania. So that could be a really good play, especially for Rollins going into WrestleMania season this year. Like, he needs somebody who draws that out of him. Like, you know, we've seen it with Cody and Seth Rollins. It works beautifully together. But let's see if we could get Rollins over to that next level, like a Punk level of worker. Like you said, it would draw something out of Rollins that we haven't seen yet. But if we're going that slow play, we need some matches for CM Punk before then, right? You need to have 1, 2, maybe 3 matches beforehand just to reestablish him with the crowd. To me, what Shinsuke Nakamura is doing right now on the build up to Survivor Series is perfect for CM Punk to answer a challenge.
I like that.
Would you like to see something like that?
I would like that. I think the styles clash a little bit, but I think the other thing is when you put stylistically not the same people together, it always brings out the best work. So
True.
I do like the idea of Nakamura versus Punk in Chicago because the Chicago crowd loves Nakamura. But they also love Punk.
They love Punk more.
Yeah. Exactly, right? So I like that idea. Nakamura is in he's a different version of Nakamura than we've ever seen right now. And I think when Punk's going to come in as the biggest face potentially for Survivor Series, I think there's only one way of doing that. And that's actually putting him against like a demon of a heel like Nakamura is right now.
I thought you were going to say Demon Finn Balor. I'm like, okay, all right, take my money. All right.
No. Like Balor versus Punk would be fun, but I think again we need to look at what's going to be that biggest draw. And there's another one that a lot of people have said would be a like greatest like dream match, and that would be Punk AJ Styles.
Oh, okay, yes, please. So Punk AJ Styles would be fantastic. Obviously, with AJ Styles being written off injured right now, that could be a great way to bring him back as well. Imagine at Survivor Series, CM Punk is there in the ring, and then you get a stare down between AJ and Punk. Now, I know there's some story holes there with Roman Reigns and, the bloodline and all that. And we're probably building up to AJ versus Roman at the Rumble anyways. Yeah. But it would be a really cool moment to see AJ Styles and Punk stare each other down because that is a match. Have we seen that before?
AJ versus Punk? Maybe in New Japan way back, but I don't think so. I don't think
it would have been early. If it happened, it would have been early in their careers, and it probably wouldn't have been not recognizable. It's not the CM Punk of today. It's not the AJ Styles of today. So that would be a wild match to see go down. But we want to know from all of you guys as well as to what you think is the best direction for CM Punk should he return to the WWE. Do you have some feuds in mind? Do you have some stories at play that you want to see play out?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. But this is an exciting time, Teshk. It really is.
It really is.
And right before we end, man, yes or no? Punk coming back? Yes or no?
No. I don't see it. I don't see it.
We'll find out.
I don't see it, and if it does, I can be crucified in the comments, and this won't age well, but I don't see Punk coming back.
We'll find out then, man. Make sure you guys leave that like. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on another episode of Straight Shoot. Cool.
Guys, thank you so much for being so active in the chat. I appreciate everyone. We've got DeMarco, we got the guy Shrek, we got Denzel, we got Trey going crazy over in the chat over here. Bailey, Ashton. Guys, make sure you have some comments or some questions for us. We are going to do a bit of a Q&A going on through this. We are reading the chat, both of us, so we appreciate you guys being here. WWE doesn't need Punk, says French Fries. In my opinion, can we get a move? Con.
Yeah, he doesn't need. WWE doesn't need Punk. Punk needs WWE more than WWE needs Punk these days. But
fair enough. So people want you
to
draw
money.
People want you to move.
They want me to move, guys. We've been over this. I'm not Jake. All right, I'm not Jake. I don't move.
All right. We got our first question here. Is Roman a possibility? Don't forget, he didn't want Roman in the Shield. He wanted Chris Hero. Let's not forget that. I think personally, I think we've moved way past anything about that with Roman Reigns. I think that kind of storyline is beneath Roman at this point. It just doesn't fit the tribal chief. But it is a good question. They could go with it, but I just think that's a bit beneath Roman now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. At least for a debut or a return. Like, I don't think Punk returning and going after Roman is the way to go. Building him up and getting a Punk versus Roman match, like, especially if you keep the title on Roman after Mania.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't put it on Cody, then yeah, that is a big match. That is that could be like one of the biggest matches WWE could put on in Roman's run. Like Roman versus Punk. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're gonna talk about another subject though.
Yeah.
And we'll keep looking at the chat here, guys. So keep active in the chat. We'll get back to you for sure. And if you ever want to check out these videos entirely, they'll be posted across Straight Shoot, whether it be here on YouTube or over on TikTok. You guys should be able to find the content you're looking for.
Absolutely.
But coming up next, we're going to talk about Austin Theory. So you want to take this one away, Teshk?
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. So welcome back to the Straight Shoot Wrestling Podcast. We are live currently on YouTube, but right now, Con and I are going to discuss a kind of an interesting topic and someone who has kind of fallen by the wayside. The biggest up-and-comer of 2022 and early 2023 has kind of fallen down the tracks in my mind. When it comes to the stardom, he's fallen into this weird kind of tag team, and that's Austin Theory. Austin Theory has been almost dubbed the next chosen one by Vince McMahon before Vince McMahon was sadly
the golden egg.
The golden egg, and he was taken away from us. And now Austin Theory kind of finds himself in the mid card. Con, first thoughts when it comes to Austin Theory and kind of the run he has had since the demise of Vince McMahon.
Oh, well, like, we just need to see the egg come back and he'll be fine. Like, bring us more egg. We need egg Theory in the building. But no, in all seriousness, Austin Theory, what a good young talent he is. And I remember saying this when he first started getting his push, that when WWE truly wants to get behind somebody and push them up the ladder, the machine works. And Austin Theory was getting over and he was being positioned really well up until Triple H took over. And it's interesting because as of today, when we're recording this video, it's 1 year ago that Austin Theory cashed in the Money in the Bank on the United States title and failed. Let's say that again. He cashed in the Money in the Bank contract on the United States title and failed. And ever since then, he has not really recovered because after that, you know, he went on to face John Cena at WrestleMania, and Cena did absolutely nothing to put him over. And when you see Cena taking 11 spikes for Solo Sikoa versus what he did with Austin Theory, not even showing up for a promo, it tells you a little bit about how Cena views Theory. So the question today is, what do we have to do to Austin Theory to get him over to the next level?
And that's a hard one for me because everyone knows my opinion on Cena, and I never enjoyed the whole superhero Super Cena debut and how he went on to become like this big guy that needs to run the company and never really helped, never turned heel, that kind of thing. The one thing I can say about Austin Theory is at least he plays a phenomenal heel. But the biggest thing is, from what I have experienced, and I'll just say this, I have sat down at a dinner table with a couple of wrestlers, some that are no longer with the company, some that are still with the company, and the conversation behind catering is Austin Theory is the next guy. That's everyone's mentality backstage, is Austin Theory is the next guy. But it's one of those ones where, how do we get him there? Because right now, I think people are starting to lose interest on Theory and this whole thing with Grayson Waller. Like it doesn't live up to what their potential is.
Well, when you look at a tag team like Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, that would be a team that would benefit heavily from the tag team titles not being unified anymore. I mean, there's a lot of issues when it comes to the tag titles being unified. We saw it back with the Usos. We see it now with Judgment Day. You're trying to build up all these teams, but they don't have any titles to win. But I don't think that's the reason why Austin Theory is not able to get to this next level. To me, Austin Theory is very similar to Randy Orton back in the day, where Randy Orton was just trying to get himself over and get himself respected. And he needed someone like Mick Foley to get him to that next level. He needed someone who was going to bring the best out of him and show everybody what he can do. Because you and me both can admit right now, Austin Theory's a hell of a worker, and he's got a hell of a future. But to get to that next level, he's got to show that he's got that grit. He can go the distance in hardcore type of matches. So we were trying to discuss this on the live stream as to who could be that guy to take him to the next level. And there is a handful of people, but the one that came up was the guy who actually had a match against him on SmackDown, I'm pretty sure just last week, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens could be the guy to bring that out of Austin Theory. We would need a couple months feud, and they would really need to tell a good story, maybe an injury angle involved or something like that. But Theory could get a really good match out of Kevin Owens if they went 20 minutes.
They could. That sucks for me to hear, because I think Kevin Owens still has so much in him, and to be that guy now that is putting over younger talent and kind of just being there to be that middleman, that kind of sucks to me, because I would love to see Kevin Owens still in the big picture, whether it be going against Logan Paul for the US title or going up against getting another run against Roman or something like that. I would love to see that, but you are right in a sense that Kevin Owens is that one that has always been able to adapt to whatever storyline he's been put in. And I think if they gave it a good angle where Kevin Owens is the uber heel, and I mean, he has to be the most diabolical version of Kevin Owens that we've ever seen to put Theory over, because if Theory is the future, Theory has to be the face going through this.
Yes, you are 100% right. He does need to be a face, and it needs to happen relatively soon, which could be the whole reason why they've got Grayson Waller and Theory partnered up to begin with. Long-term play could be Theory gets turned on by Waller, and that's the start of a babyface run for Theory. And saying that out loud, it doesn't thrill me. Like, like I'm just like, yeah, it's what it is. It's just a heel turn, like, or just a face turn for Theory, and keeping the same heel in Grayson Waller. But like, at least it's something. Yeah. And the best part with Austin Theory is he's so young. Like, he's incredibly young, and he's got everybody behind him backstage. I think he's like 20, 26. Let's take a quick look.
Yeah, I think he's not even close to 30.
26. Yeah, he's 26.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got all the talent in the world, and he's got people behind him pushing him up the ladder, which is really good. But again, we just need that one person, and that's where I'm going to ask the comments to let us know who you guys think should be that person for Austin Theory. Because if Mick Foley was that guy for Randy Orton, there's got to be somebody in WWE to be that guy for Theory. Is there any other names that you got in your mind?
You just said it. Randy Orton.
Oh, all right. All right, that could be really good.
Who better to pass the torch than a returning Randy Orton? Mick Foley was on the way out when he basically had his feud with Randy, that diabolical feud, right? Yeah. But now Randy is slated to come back by the end of the year. He's gonna have like that. I think he's gonna have that surprise return at Survivor Series personally. But
so sorry to interrupt, but if we're doing that, then Randy's got to be babyface, because there's no way people are booing Randy when he comes back, right? Yeah, so Theory would have to be the heel in that scenario, but it could work. Yeah, it could work, especially if you keep Theory and Waller together during that feud with Orton. That could get Waller over to the next level as well.
Absolutely,
could actually be a really good feud. That would work for me.
Yeah, I think Randy Orton is one of the most diabolical villains that we've ever seen in professional wrestling. I'm not just going to say WWE. I think just professional wrestling. If you need to prove yourself that you can carry the company and you have that ability to adapt and change, Randy Orton's the one you got to prove it to.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's where we're going to have to end this one, because that is the direction. Like, in my mind, there's no other way to go with it now. Kevin Owens is not nearly as exciting as Randy Orton versus Austin Theory. That a full 3-month feud between Theory and Orton, that could be some wonderful TV. Yeah. But let us know in the comments, everyone, who you guys would like to see Austin Theory go up against and how you get Austin Theory to that next level. Leave that like, make sure you're subscribed, all that great stuff. Teshk, brother, it was great chatting with you.
Like always.
And we'll chat again very soon in another episode of Straight Shoot. Peace out, bros.
All right, so we've got Trey asking, I got a good question. Since Logan Paul just won the U.S. title, do y'all think his reign will be long or short? Aren't we touching on Logan Paul in this?
Yeah, We are.
Yeah,
Right?
Trey, we will answer that. We're
Oh
doing.
shoot, no, we can right now though. Let's talk a little bit about Logan
Yeah,
Paul
let's.
right now.
We're actually going to talk a little bit about Logan Paul. That was on the list. I want to say what's up to Alexander DeMonte. What's up, buddy? How you doing, mate? Demarco, thanks for answering some of the questions that Con and I can't answer right now. What else is there? There was a couple other questions I saw.
What about giving Theory a legend killer type persona? I'm not saying an exact replica, but something like that, said David Montz.
I like it.
Interesting. Going up against legends. I mean, it's proven to work. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. My question is, seeing his Mania is in 5 months. My question is, who do you both think Roman's next feud will be against before Mania? It all depends on the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
I don't think the Rumble is the conversation. Personally, sorry, Con, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I don't think the conversation for Roman is the Rumble. I think Roman's conversation is the Elimination Chamber and how they go about that, because my mindset and how the Rumble's going to play out, the Rumble's going to play out for the world title. That's my personal opinion. The Rumble plays out for the world title.
Oh, you think so, eh?
Yeah.
It's going to be a world title Rumble?
Yeah, so no, not the world title on for the world title. For the Rumble, sorry. Like the Rumble's, the world title is not going to be up for grabs at the Rumble. What I'm saying is the person that is going to win the Rumble is going for the world title. They are not going for Roman. That's my...
Chat, you agree or disagree with that? World title? Yeah, actually, you know what? Even better than agree, disagree. World title or universal title for the winner of the Royal Rumble this year? Who are they going to go after? But that's yeah, you know what? I probably see that happening too. Now, do you think Roman defends inside the chamber in Australia this year?
They're going to have to
I
make...
think he's gonna.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to. But I think we get 2 chamber matches.
Yeah.
So SmackDown will...
Women's and men's.
No. I think there's going to be 2 men's chamber matches. I know this sounds crazy. This sounds crazy. SmackDown is going to have a men's chamber match. But I think they're going to have another chamber match for who can feud. Basically, okay, this is my thought on this. Rumble will be for a #1 contender spot at WrestleMania.
Yes.
They are going to be forced, how Rumble ends, to make another #1 contender spot for a title at Mania. So whatever the Rumble winner chooses to go against, the person that wins Chamber goes for the other title. I know it sounds crazy. I don't think we see it, but I know it's hard.
Just so I can follow your thought process right here.
Yeah.
2 chambers, one for the Universal Championship and one to go to Mania is what you're saying?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, it's been done. I don't think it's been done before. We normally just have, if you're going to Mania, you win the chamber or the title, right?
Or they just do a straight up, title match for Roman's title, and they have the men's chamber.
Yeah, see why I think they don't do that is because they did that with Sammy Roman last year. And I think going all the way to Australia, the idea of seeing Roman inside the chamber is a huge draw. Now, if you're going off of having 2 chamber matches, that makes sense to have Roman in one. It really does. But at the same time, what you're saying is that Roman is a big enough draw that he could be in a singles match, and then you have 2 chambers, women's #1 contender, men's #1 contender to go to WrestleMania. You know, like I like your idea of like the Royal Rumble winner choosing which title they get to go after. Same for the women's. They choose which championship they want to go after, and then Elimination Chamber being like the consolation prize. Like, okay, they've picked, now you guys have to win the chamber to go to Mania. It does make Chamber a bit more of an exciting event as a result.
So the reason I say this, and I'll give away a couple of people in the chat know my mindset on how Rumble's going to play out. Cody gets screwed at the Rumble. Cody is going to get screwed at the Rumble by the Bloodline. You want to finish the story happen, and everyone's screaming, how are they going to do it? How are they going to do it? This is how it plays out. The final 5 in the Rumble are Dominic Mysterio, LA Knight, Gunther, Cody, and Solo. Okay? LA Knight eliminates Dom just to get that cheap pop, and Dom goes out. Okay? Dom walks to the back. Your final 4 are LA, Gunther, Solo, and Cody. Okay?
Hell of a final 4.
Hell of a final 4. Okay? At that point, Solo goes after LA Knight. Gunther goes after Cody. You have the back and forth. LA Knight gets eliminated.
Okay. Yeah.
Gunther versus Solo. Okay? Against Cody. They both team up against Cody. Cody goes over and goes to skin the cat. Gunther throws out Solo. Cody goes to stand up. Gunther thinks he's won. Cody goes to go back into the ring. Solo pulls him off the apron.
And Gunther wins the Royal Rumble.
Gunther wins the Royal Rumble. In turn, Cody goes Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25 mentality. He needs to get to WrestleMania.
Okay, and that leads to the Elimination Chamber. I see where you're going with this one. Okay. All right. Is he in the chamber, or does he come into the chamber? Like, does he not get into the chamber match against Roman? Let's say
he has to.
If we're replicating Shawn Michaels Undertaker, then that means Cody can't be inside the chamber match, and Roman will be defending his title inside the chamber.
I'm not saying replicate it. I'm saying get to the number 1. The chamber is another number 1 contender spot.
Understood. Okay, so Roman's not in the chamber whatsoever in this scenario. He's just completely out of it, and you have a number 1 contenders chambers match, and Cody needs to win it because he got screwed over in the Royal Rumble.
And then you have in the chamber, you have the likes of Solo Sikoa, you have LA Knight, you have Cody, you have Sammy, and you have Jay.
All right.
And Cody wins the Rumble. Or wins the Elimination Chamber.
Wins the chamber, and then heads off to WrestleMania, faces Roman Reigns. Does he complete the story?
No.
Oh, damn it. I know it's going to happen too.
Yeah.
I'm going to have, 2 years in a row, my reaction is going to be the same. It's going to be just me absolutely freaking heartbroken.
Considering I've been wanting to make that video on YouTube for the better part of a month and splurge it out, the 30 some odd people that are in the chat, congratulations. You got to hear it here first. What do you guys think in the comments? Is that a great way of doing it, like breaking it down? Cody gets screwed by the bloodline. Imagine the pop in Florida for like that negative pop. Like Gunther's won. Like it's not going to take anything away from Gunther because he was the Iron Man last year. So people want to see him finish it.
Sorry, quick interject here. Does he lose the IC title before he wins it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Gunther might lose it at Survivor Series.
Ooh,
whoever they build it against.
Well, it's Miz.
Then I think he loses the Miz then.
You know, I guess Miz being the guy to take the title off him is credible.
If Miz wins, if Miz wins, does he break Jericho or is he ahead of Jericho already?
He's already ahead, I'm pretty sure.
There you go.
Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure he's already ahead. Miz is in the conversation for the greatest IC champion of all time.
Of course he is.
Now, Gunther beating Miz adds to that legacy. When you really look at the IC title run he's on, I said this in the stream yesterday, he is the greatest IC champion of all time. It's not even just because of the matches that he has had along the way. It's been the overall presentation and the commitment to restoring the prestige of the IC title again. If you look at where it was, the IC championship before Gunther and now, dude, they've done a great job, and that's all been presentation. And Triple H has just copied and pasted the same championship run, from NXT UK here with the IC title, and it's working.
But we're not complaining about it, though. We love it.
And that's the best part. We're 500 days in, and I'm not bored of it. I want to see more matches. In fact, as much as I want to see Gunther up in that world title scene alongside of Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre again and all that, like as much as I'd love to see him up there, what he's doing for everybody at the mid-card level is fantastic.
Mhm.
These matches that we're getting to see on TV for
Oh,
free,
yeah.
like I don't want them to stop.
I don't want them to stop either. It's just unfortunate that Gunther's not going to be able to. Oh, that changes the entire dynamic. Gunther can't go to Perth. He's got a travel ban for 6. He's got a travel ban for 6 months.
Well, you know, if he wins the Royal Rumble, that doesn't change anything there.
That's true. That is very true. That is very true. All right, let's get into what was the question? It was Logan?
No, we have too much Roman. What's next for LA Knight, War Games, and if we wanted to talk a bit about Logan, we could.
Okay, so let's get into guys. We're gonna talk about. Let's actually look at some of the questions first off. Roman is surpassing Hogan. Yeah, exactly. Who does Seth face at Royal Rumble if he does not defend at Rumble, Teshk, and Khan? You can take that one.
I didn't even hear the question.
Who does Seth face at the Rumble if he does not defend at the Rumble? I don't understand that, but who does he face at the Rumble?
If he does defend at the Rumble, who's Seth Rollins facing? Gosh, it depends how War Games go. Because I can see Drew being the 5th and final member on Team Babyface, and Drew screwing over the babyfaces inside of War Games. His heel turn.
Can you see that?
I can, but it would have to be told the right way. It's got to be Rhea convincing Drew that he needs to take that next step as the bad guy. You know, he needs to take that next step to reach the mountaintop, because that's the story being told right now, is that Drew is not able to get back to that title because all these other factions have all these other people protecting it and everything. Yet he went one-on-one against Seth Rollins and still couldn't get the job done by himself. Even without any distractions, anything going on outside, he still couldn't get the job done by himself. So whether it's affiliated with the Judgment Day coming out of War Games, or whether it's just, I listened to you, I got to do things my way now, but I'm not joining you or whatever, I think we're not done with Seth versus Drew is what I'm trying to say here. Okay. And I think we're going back to Seth versus Drew, and the big turn for Drew will happen at War Games is what I'm guessing. Originally, I guess that he was going to turn after their match at Crown Jewel. I thought Drew was going to lose to Seth Rollins, and that would make him snap and turn heel fully. But we'll see, man. We'll see what ends up coming out of War Games.
See, I've got the other mentality that it's actually just going to be Drew. See, I think they're just going to, personally, I think they're just going to go 4-on-4. I personally think they're just going to go 4-on-4. But if they do go 5-on-5, it will be Drew joining the Judgment Day on the heel side. And then it will be Cody calling an old friend and bringing in Randy Orton.
I would also love to see a similar heel turn for Drew to that of Tegan Nox and, was it Dakota Kai?
Yes, it was Dakota. It was Dakota.
Yes. Yeah, down in NXT.
That was great.
I would love that for Drew.
They're
just standing in the cage together.
That's one of my favorite heel turns.
Drew just wrecks Seth Rollins, like destroys his back even more inside of the cage, and just leaves his team high and dry.
That would be
Scottish
sweet.
Psychopath is back. I would take my money for that one.
There's some broken dreams right there.
There is, yeah.
All right. Let's. You can lead with Roman.
All right, sounds good. Welcome back to another episode of Straight Shoot. I'm Con, that's Teshk, and today are we talking about Roman Reigns? Yes, we are. Are we talking about, is there too much Roman Reigns? Yes, we are. And my answer is yes, there is far too much Roman Reigns, even for a guy who never defends the title. Teshk, brother, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, and this should be a juicy conversation because I'm on the other end of the spectrum. You can never get enough of our tribal chief.
Oh, yes, you can.
No, you can't. All right.
So, we're going to talk about Roman Reigns here from the most unbiased perspective that I possibly can, because I truly have been bothered by Roman Reigns as champion, and that is because I always root for the baby faces. It seems to be in my blood, whether it be Kevin Owens, whether it be Sami Zayn, whether it be Cody Rhodes, whether it be Jey Uso. I seem to get my heart broken by Roman Reigns a lot these days. And it's not because I'm sitting here saying like, oh, Roman's a terrible champion. What he has done with this championship run has been fantastic.
Mhm.
But I want the payoff. And I know it's 2023 and everybody always complains about people want it now and they don't want to wait for it. But damn it, I've been waiting well over like how many days now, man? Is it like 1,500 days?
No, it's 1100 and change. I think it's like 1170 at this point.
Fucking feels like 1,500 to me, man. Like it's been going on forever. And I just want the payoff. And I thought I was going to get it with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and I didn't get it. And I don't think I truly believed Jay was going to win this thing. But, like, still, I wanted the payoff. I'm like, well, maybe that's where they're going with this story. I just want to see someone beat Roman Reigns, man. I want it.
Yeah, no. See, I was on the other end of the spectrum at WrestleMania. I pretty much had it set in stone in my mind that Roman was not dropping that title because the storyline was too quick with Cody. It was only a 3-week build. What was it? 3 weeks? You tried to finish the story in 3 weeks? Come on. And everyone who thought that it was going to be Cody finishing the story on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39, y'all need to wake up out of Fantasyland and leave the Disney park, okay? Now, honest. No. I said what I said. I said what I said. No, but honestly, like I actually thought it was going to be LA Knight. I thought for some reason until I saw the layout of Crown Jewel, because when I saw Crown Jewel, I was expecting big open like cricket park size stadium, not this little almost indie show, you know, down the street.
The biggest indie show I've ever seen.
I don't know. It looked like something you would set up in Peterborough, Ontario or something. I don't know. But no, it's one of those.
We couldn't organize people to get that together here.
But no, it's one of those ones where like I was like, okay, where's this going to end? And then you start looking at the numbers and first off, I'm a fan of Roman's run. It's because we've never seen this run in either one of our generations. Okay, I caught the tail end of Hogan, I think, but we've not seen this.
I didn't get to watch any of Hogan. I'm too young for that one.
Yeah, so I caught the tail end of it. But at the end of the day, like we've never seen this, and WWE has a plan. My only thing I don't like about WWE's plan, and somebody can correct me in the comments, Roman Reigns has only defended his title 58 times in 1,100 plus days.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that house shows included?
No, registered defenses. So I'm pretty sure main roster on televised events, I think.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan.
That feels like a lot.
Hulk Hogan.
Does it not?
It might have, but Hulk Hogan defended his title well over 400 times.
Yeah. Okay. It's like, but we got to be counting house shows.
Maybe it's house shows.
I'm trying to think.
Maybe
like
it's house shows.
Roman Reigns' title defenses. He's faced like Kevin Owens like a few times. He's faced Jey Uso a few times. He's got Seth Rollins in there. He's got
so
LA
that's
Knight
probably
in there,
house shows.
obviously. He's got Brock Lesnar. I don't know, maybe 58 times is spot on. Lately, I guess it's because lately, right? He just hasn't been around, and it feels like it's ages in between his title defenses. And it's starting to get ridiculous because like there used to be this rule that kept the integrity of the championship, and it was called the 30-day rule.
The 30-day rule.
And you obviously remember it since you grew up watching wrestling, and a lot of people in the chat will remember it as well. But the 30-day rule is essentially you have to defend your championship every 30 days or you're stripped of the title.
Yeah.
Whether it be house shows, whether it be live events, you name it, you have to defend your title in 30 days. And if you didn't, the champion was stripped of the title. This just doesn't exist for Roman Reigns.
No.
And I don't understand why they don't do it because, yeah, I get it. Roman's on vacation, but like, bro can come back for a 5-minute match. Like, you don't have like have Paul Heyman be like, we're going to put you up against Tozawa because I swung the deal for the tribal chief.
Yeah.
And Tozawa wants an opportunity, so Tozawa, you're going to get it. And everybody would be into that. Main event of SmackDown, Tozawa, Roman Reigns, but it's over in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. You have the integrity of the 30-day rule continue, right?
It's actually a really good way of booking the complaint about Roman has not defended his title enough. So exactly. You want me to defend my title? Sure. I'll see you in Cleveland for a 2-minute squash match against Tozawa. I'll see you in Portland, Oregon for a 4-minute squash match against Michael Cole. Like,
there you go. Yeah.
Like, make it
and then
ridiculous.
all of a sudden, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different TV. It's different than what we've seen with Roman Reigns. And in my opinion, it prolongs the title run of Roman Reigns a lot, because now we're not just going title match to title match. Oh, who's the next challenger? Build him up, build him up, build him up. Oh, he's going to lose because there's going to be bloodline interference. It's not that anymore. It's you're getting to see Roman Reigns in the main event of SmackDown defending his title.
Yeah.
And you're also seeing somebody who should not be in that position go up against him. And there's something so interesting about that. It's the David and Goliath matchup.
Yeah.
You know, it's the big main eventer versus the enhancement talent. Who's gonna win? Probably the main eventer, but does the enhancement talent get some offense in? Because then it's very interesting. Does he get a roll up? Does he have a quick 1, 2, almost 3? That moment right there of Roman kicking out and the look of shock on Paul's face, the look of shock on Roman's face before Roman spears Tozawa would be great TV.
Could Tozawa actually handle a Roman spear? Like,
oh, dude, Tozawa's amazing. The power of Tozawa.
Hey, sorry. Just so you know, it's been
that's just the next video. We're just gonna be sitting here for like 15 minutes doing this.
Just so you know, it's been 31 times on televised events, including PLEs.
Gotcha. So 31 times that we've seen on PLEs and TV, and the rest was house shows.
Yes.
Wow.
So, all right.
Holy, all right, man.
But when it comes, hold on, when it comes down to Roman, we all know at this point, we can see the writing in the stars that Roman is going to beat Hulk Hogan. He will be number 3 on the list at this point. Do we care? Does it matter? Does it matter that Roman is the number 3 of all time longest title reigns? Does it matter?
I mean, yeah, it matters. You know, what we've just sat through isn't nothing. You know, it's history that we watched.
Yep.
People 40 years from now are going to be talking about Roman's run.
Yep.
You know, that this run will be very difficult for anybody to replicate. Like to be perfectly honest, to get the machine behind you for that long and never take the title off of you, like that's impressive. There's not many people who can convince WWE to not take the championship off them every 8 months. You know, like that's a lot of people behind you to make that happen. So yeah, it matters. Does it matter in the grand scheme of things? No, because it's different eras. You know, like the Hulk Hogan era, it's trying to compare like the steroid era of baseball to current day.
True.
You can't. You know, they're skewed stats. It's the different era. People watch the show today differently than they did back then. So it doesn't matter as much in the grand scheme of things. To me, it's almost more impressive that Roman has been able to hold on to this title for this long in today's day and age, because long title reigns were the norm back in the day with Hulk Hogan, with Bruno Sammartino. You know, hell, even what's his name? Bob Backlund.
Bob Backlund. Nobody talks about Bob Backlund. He's number 2, isn't he?
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure like he has a incredibly long run, and it was
2,000 plus days.
And I'm pretty sure his run was just him being a baby face and just having heel after heel step up, and somehow he got out with the win. Yeah. You know, it wasn't, and you will not see that type of booking in 2023 anymore. No. So what Roman has done is incredibly impressive. So yeah, it definitely does matter. Do I personally care? Not really.
Can I ask you one more question before we end this?
Yep.
Is Roman sick? And they're hiding it? That's why he keeps going away?
You know, that's a tough one. I don't want to speculate when it comes to people's health like that, especially with what Roman has been going through. Is it a possibility? Yeah. You know, he's in remission, right? So it's never truly gone.
True.
Leukemia has never truly gone away. So yeah, he could be, but I don't want to speculate on that.
I don't want to speculate either, but it's just one of those ones I've seen the question come up, and it's like, if that were the case, these 3-month disappearances make more sense.
Let's leave it at that then. Yeah, we want to hear your takes in the comments, everyone. Is there too much Roman, or is there not enough Roman? Yeah. And do you personally care about Roman Reigns' long championship defense that he's had? Yeah. Make sure you leave that like. Make sure you subscribe. Tesh, brother, it's always great talking with you. And we'll see you guys on another episode of Straight Shoot.
Cheers. Con, can you take this? And by the way, All Styles Gaming, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, brother. Thank you so very much for that, man. So, chat, it's good to see all of you guys. I'm sure, I've got a few of my viewers over here. If you guys did join us, thanks for joining. But I'm going to be live here with MrTeshk. We're going to try to do this every Tuesday. All right, my friends. So every single Tuesday around 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern time, you can probably expect to see us be here live talking about wrestling. And then we're going to make some videos out of these live streams that we do. So all these sections that you guys have seen, if you miss any of it, you can check it back right here on Straight Shoot. That's where it's going to be. So hit that sub button, everyone. It's so great to see everybody coming on over. And like, obviously, you guys know, for those of you who've been watching me for a long time, we love chatting about wrestling. That's what we do. And so it's just really cool that we get to do more of it. Me and MrTeshk have gotten along quite well. We actually met back on Forbidden Door, AEW Forbidden Door down in Toronto. We both had tickets. We went down there, and we ended up grabbing a drinky poo. And here you go. MrTeshk, the man, the myth, the legend, is back. But yeah, guys, make sure you hit that follow. Make sure you hit that sub and join us every Tuesday right here. I was just telling them that we're going to be doing this live on Tuesdays now, and we're making videos out of it. It's exciting, and I think it's the way to go, don't you?
I think it is, and we can get back into that quote podcast idea as well that Straight Shoot did start out with. I think Con and I have great abilities on both of our ends with how long we've been doing this. He's been doing this for like a decade, but I think we both have the knowledge and we can carry enough where we can develop that podcast. There's also a potential, and I haven't thrown this Con's way yet, so I'm going to surprise him, but there is a setup for a radio channel as well where you can record stuff like this, be live, have call-ins, and still have it as a podcast after where people can listen to it later on.
Ooh. All right, guys, give us a hell yeah if you want to see something like that. That sounds dope.
Yeah,
live callers with this,
live
Straight Shoot,
live call-ins. Yeah, like it's available. I've talked to the man, the myth, the legend, Nick, Mr. Professor. What is it, 316 or whatever, 361 or whatever it is. But yeah, he's given me some great insight on how to make the radio channel. So definitely something for the future. Love y'all's background. Thanks, DeMarco.
Yeah, look at those hell yeah.
Holy shit, okay.
Yeah, people are like, they want to see that.
All right, guys, if you are new into the chat, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps, shows some love. And if you haven't followed either one of our channels, make sure both channels are being followed. All the socials are down in the corner somewhere here and over there. So final one. No, we're not on our final one. What do we got? LA Knight?
Yeah, we got LA Knight, and then we got WARGAMES.
WARGAMES.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We'll finish with WARGAMES because that's what's on everyone's mind. After
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. You run with this, man. I don't like leading off.
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Straight Shoot, everyone. Today we're talking about one of the fastest rising stars in SmackDown history. His name is LA Knight. I'm Con, that's Teshk. Let's talk about what's next for this man after the loss to Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Now, I'm going to start things off right here because I thought Roman Reigns versus LA Knight was one of the better matches on Crown Jewel. It was enjoyable from start to finish. The crowd was into it. And in my opinion, LA Knight did everything he needed to do in that matchup. He didn't look out of place. What do you think?
LA Knight consistently does this in every single feud he's been in. We can go back to the Bray Wyatt feud that he had, where Bray Wyatt was supposed to be the guy to come out of that feud looking untouchable, and it was complete opposite. LA Knight was the one that came out of that feud as the golden goose,
as the megastar. He evolved into the megastar from the Bray Wyatt feud for sure.
Exactly. And in the same thing with this, LA Knight went into this feud with Roman. You know, he sat at the head of the table. He didn't acknowledge the tribal chief during the entrance. He cooked on the mic saying, you know what, if you beat me, it doesn't matter because I'm coming back. You're not going to get rid of me. So at the end of the day, LA Knight is just adding to his stock. If this is the NASDAQ and this is the New York Stock Exchange, I'm throwing my money in on LA Knight right now. I'm invested.
Dude, I'm risking it.
I'm
risking it. I'm putting all in. We're taking a second mortgage out on the house. We're going all in on LA.
Exactly. So when it comes to LA
don't
Knight,
do that though, kids.
yeah, save your money. No, when it comes to LA Knight though, there's nothing wrong with losing to Roman Reigns. If anything, losing to Roman Reigns shows that you are supposed to be there.
Yes.
And
yes, I agree with you 100%. There was a lot of people who were talking about LA Knight, how if he didn't win this thing, that this would be the height of his popularity. I disagree with that big time. Roman Reigns versus LA Knight just made LA Knight more popular,
Absolutely.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
It got him over it, and it answered a lot of questions that we had with LA Knight. Can he hang with the best in the business right now? Can he work a main event style matchup? Will the fans be interested in a 30-minute LA Knight match? The answer is yeah, they are. They love him. LA Knight is as over gets. So the question becomes, where does LA Knight go now? Because he's reached basically the height that he can right now on SmackDown, and he's probably going to have to drop back down a little bit from Roman Reigns, whether that be towards a mid-card title or whether that be a switch over to Monday Night Raw and potentially towards the world title. Where do you think the best direction is for him, man?
I think WWE needs to be very careful right now, because with Roman going away, with Logan Paul being the US champion, ending 2023, there's a concern that there's not enough titles on SmackDown.
Yes.
Luckily, there is only one premium live event left for the rest of the year. So we don't need to really build something massive. It's a 2-month build to the Rumble. So I think what we have to do with LA Knight is make him look strong going into the Rumble.
Oh, agree 100%, man.
That's not a step down. And anyone who says, "Oh, what are you talking about? He should be going against Logan Paul for the United States Championship." No. What you need to do now is build it to a point where LA Knight says, "You know what? I know how I get back to the top. I know how I become the megastar again. I'm going in at Royal Rumble in the #1 spot, and I'm going to win it."
Oh, I love that for LA Knight. The #1 spot.
You do
show that he can be a workhorse as well. Oh, I love that. I didn't even think about that, dude. That's actually the perfect place for LA Knight, because then you get the entrance, you get the crowd going behind him the entire way. Yep. Yeah, man. And then whoever, because I don't think he's going to win the Rumble this year. He's certainly in the running for it.
Of course he is.
But I don't think he's going to be the winner of the Rumble. Whoever eliminates him could very well be the Mania match. And let's just say right here, people are saying, what about LA Knight versus Logan Paul? Is that a match you want to see? That could be a way to get it at WrestleMania if Logan Paul eliminated LA Knight in the Royal Rumble.
Imagine the heat. Imagine
the heat would be wonderful.
Imagine the heat of a part-time YouTuber eliminating the megastar. Like, think about it though. Logan Paul, guys, as whoever's watching this, if you're live, if you're watching this on the video on YouTube, imagine if you want super uber heat on somebody. You make him a champion, you make him a part-timer, and he eliminates the guy that you believe should be the new world champion. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
That's some uber heat.
That is literally Elias heat when he talked about the basketball team and they booed him for 3 minutes straight. That is like stuff we don't talk about heat. That's how hot that would be. And all you would need, no disrespect to Logan Paul, because he's phenomenal in the ring. And I think Eric Bischoff came out and said the other day that it's crazy that Logan Paul can do what he can do. He basically saved Rey Mysterio's life.
Yeah.
Crown Jewel. And I don't want to go down another path, but he basically saved Rey Mysterio's life. His timing was perfect. He did everything perfect in that match. But imagine LA Knight just says, nah, I'm the megastar. I'm going to come in. I'm going to beat you in under 5 minutes. Boom.
Yeah. That would be so good. I mean, I think that's a WrestleMania moment.
Yep.
And Logan Paul can afford a loss. He can afford to lose the championship. Like, we've seen him bounce back from a loss from Roman Reigns. Speaking of which, LA Knight can bounce back from a loss to Roman Reigns because Logan Paul can bounce back to a loss from Roman Reigns. You get what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
But that type of scenario where LA Knight is buried because he lost to Roman Reigns doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. People are still behind LA Knight. So I love that idea, man. Entering number 1 at the Royal Rumble, getting potentially eliminated by Logan Paul, going on to WrestleMania to face Logan Paul for the US title and taking the title from him would be a Mania moment, no doubt. Let's say though he maybe does win the Royal Rumble because he is in conversation for it. Could WrestleMania be the moment for LA Knight? Could we finally see him reach the mountaintop as world heavyweight champion?
Yes, it's not Roman. It is the world title. I personally, guys, I'm just going to say this. I don't think Seth is world champion at Mania. I'm just saying that for now. I'm thinking Seth drops.
Sorry, I know this is going to be off on a tangent. Does he lose it before Mania or at Mania?
That's a whole nother episode, but I'm going to say Seth loses before Mania. I think Seth loses at the Rumble.
We'll get into another episode then with that. We'll talk about Seth Rollins and his world title run towards Mania then at some point. But yeah, so LA Knight could be the guy at Royal Rumble to go on to Mania, world title potentially. But regardless, this conversation around LA Knight about is he buried, is he not, is he worse off? No, he's not. He's better off. It's just as simple as that. A big main event match against Roman Reigns, and he came out looking like $1 million. Nothing wrong with it.
I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that we have to deal with as wrestling fans is the atrocious takes that we get. Con, I don't know. I've never seen your DMs, but I've seen mine. I've seen my Twitter feed. I've seen my Instagram. And just some of the takes and some of the comments of, LA Knight's done and buried. Cody's never going to finish the story. All this stuff. And you sit there and you're like, guys, it's like a fine wine. Okay. LA Knight is a fine wine. And what do you do with a fine wine? You pop the cork.
You chug it.
Jesus Christ. All right. I don't know what kind of wine you've been drinking, that $11 LCBO rack basket wine. But no, with a fine wine, you pop that cork and you let it breathe. Let it breathe. You take that first little tester. That first little tester was Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. Now let it breathe and let it build. Let it run its course. Enjoy it in the moment. Don't fantasy book the negative out of everything. Just enjoy it. Enjoy LA Knight. Yeah.
He's got legs like wine. I don't know. I'm not a wine drinker, so we're going to blow past that and we're going to move to the end of the episode right here. So let's just end it there. All right.
Oh,
guys,
God.
Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment down below letting us know your thoughts on LA Knight. Is he dead and done? Or do you think he's got a lot more in the tank? Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching Straight Shoot.
Later.
So dumb.
So dumb. What's going on? Story being built for Rumble moment is smart, especially if you're backing up LA and Logan to take him out later. Okay. The promos for LA Knight would deliver. Breaking news. When you end recording. What? DeMarco, what? I'm with Conman. I want the payoff now.
Hang on.
What's up?
So Mike Johnson here reporting that WWE. You recording or you?
Yeah, we're recording. We're recording.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So breaking news right now. Mike Johnson from WWE, Mike Johnson, the writer of what is it? PW Insider. There we go. Says WWE is on the verge of announcing a new television home for NXT. Multiple sources in the broadcast industry have confirmed that the CW network and WWE have been in deep discussions for weeks about NXT shifting from its current basic cable home on the USA network to a traditional broadcast television home, airing live weekly on the CW network when the brand's current media right deal ends in September of 2024. So looks like CW network front runner for NXT. Which is interesting considering a lot of people were talking about Monday Night Raw moving as well. So I don't know if CW would be the spot to move Monday Night Raw to.
It better not be. Listen, the first thing I think about CW Network is trying to watch like those old like superhero shows, like what was that, Supergirl or whatever, and like it always cut out.
Teen Titans. Yeah.
That's it, Teen Titans. Like I'll tell you right now, like CW makes me nervous, man. That reminds me of old TBS for Nitro.
So I wonder if because they're going there is because NXT has such a younger demographic. Their entire focus is on the next up and coming stars. So if they're going to a younger network, that could be purposeful because they think the age demographic will match up better over there than USA Network.
It could do,
which I can understand. I can understand that. Raw on CW Network would be a terrible choice.
No,
it'd be a terrible choice. I think that you would see low ratings there. It's not in every single home.
I think the conversation that you and I had the other day about where Monday Night Raw goes, I still stand by it. It has to be ESPN. Yeah, ESPN. And ESPN's up for sale right now too. Disney's getting rid of ESPN.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so somebody could be a front runner for ESPN.
Yeah. So,
geez. Okay, just I'm literally spitballing here. TKO Group, would they be interested in an actual TV network of their own because they have the deal with ESPN with UFC and they clearly want to move WWE to a pay-per-view buy rate model like UFC.
Yeah.
So that could be the direction if they have the money. God.
So I was as much as we're talking wrestling, this does fall under the wrestling platform. I was watching a interview the other day with one of the old executives of Disney, and they said that ESPN's money that it brought into the company at one point made more than every single Disney park's income in a year.
Wow.
That's how much money ESPN was bringing in to Disney. It was more than every Disney park on the planet. That's merchandise, that's ticket revenue, that's the restaurants, that's the hotels, that's the cruise lines. That ESPN was bringing in more of that.
Are we talking the year of 2020 where the pandemic hit? Like
It's before the pandemic.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That is big numbers.
I can't remember what show I was watching. I think not Joe Rogan. It was like a Joe Rogan podcast. It wasn't Joe Rogan though. But no, Tony Khan is not buying ESPN. TKO has way more money than Tony Khan. And like, I'll tell you right now, TKO, and they have a better partnership with Dana White and the UFC. Like ESPN has that partnership already with the UFC.
Yeah.
Then you look at it, TKO owns ESPN, so then we're going to get Monday Night Raw on ESPN. We're going to get Saturday Fight Nights. We're going to get the Slap League. We're going to get all of these things, and it will be the home of combat sports. That was the original mindset of the merger between UFC and WWE for TKO. That was the idea. Merge it and make it the home of combat sports.
Yeah, and their goal to have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday type of show is huge. But we've also talked about if WWE is to move off of USA Network, running a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of show. Like if they were bold enough to move Monday Night Raw off of Mondays, which I still don't think they're going to do. But that's, again, we've been through that conversation. If they were to move it off of that and they wanted to have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, each and every single week with WWE Raw, SmackDown, UFC, and then a PLE if WWE had to move it to the Sunday again, whatever they decide to do. That's a statement there. That is like a whole weekend just for fighting.
Just remember, if you also look at why WWE puts PLEs on Saturdays now. If you think about it, why do they put it on PLE? Because they're traveling more. They have to do the Saudi events. So the weekends where they can have the UFC, they're going to reschedule that they don't have a Saudi event that weekend. And then you can have that 4-day ESPN runs it right through, or TKO runs it right through. The only reason they switched the Saturdays was because of the Saudi event. 14 hours to travel back to the US or to Canada is really tough unless they decided, you know what? Okay, we're going to keep it on Saturdays. And then we'll do a Monday Night Raw in London or Manchester,
Well, I'm pretty sure also part of the reason that they made the switch to begin with was because they wanted the opportunity for international viewers to watch the PLEs live. I think they were running into the issue with a lot of UK viewers on a Sunday night having to go to work Monday morning,
True.
right? They can't stay up to the wee hours of the morning. Now, granted, you UK viewers are insane when it comes to wrestling. The
Yeah.
fact that you watch it at 1 a.m. week in, week out, stay up until like 4 a.m., then
It's
make some
tough,
content
dude.
after that. Like my buddy C Wrestling, he's in the UK and he makes things you might have missed right after WWE Raw and SmackDown, and it's 4 in the morning for him, and he's up until like 7, then goes to work.
Yep.
And you're like, bro, go to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
just watch it the next day. But no, that's how diehard wrestling fans are over in the UK. So they kind of deserve to be able to watch a PLE live, you know?
Dude, when I was over in the UK for Clash at the Castle, I remember watching, I had 2 Monday Night Raws and 2 SmackDowns that I had to watch. And I wanted them live. I don't like getting spoilers from Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. I fucking hate it. But I remember I was up and it was the Monday Night Raw after Clash. And I was sitting in my uncle's back bar. He had a bar in the back of his backyard. He built a whole bar separate on the separate building. And I'm sitting there and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you get like the 10 o'clock hour for Eastern Standard Time is the hour. So it's the 3 a.m. hour. That's what I was trying to get to. Holy dude, I'm sitting there. I got a beer in front of me, and I'm like, God, I give so much respect to the UK fans for what they're able to do and how they're able to get into wrestling and not get it spoiled, because that is not easy. You're sitting there, you have a full day, and then 3 a.m. comes around, and you're like, oh my God, I want to go to bed. But then you hear
your head would just be bobbing at that point. Like I don't, on a good day, 10:30 rolls around, and sometimes like while I'm live on stream, my eyes feel like they're down to the bottom of my chin. Like I'm exhausted, and I can't imagine staying up till 3 a.m. watching it. I feel like we're getting sidetracked here a little bit, but in the end of the day, you know, like I can't even remember what our original topic was. Was it LA Knight we were talking about?
Oh
Or
no,
what
we
were talking about?
already finished that video. You just brought up
Fuck,
the
are we doing it?
No, we're not doing a video right now. We're just shooting the shit.
We're not doing a video. All right.
No.
Right, so yeah.
This is what live happens. This is what happens live, man. No, this is what happens. No, what we were talking about. You brought up the potential move to the CW network. For NXT.
Okay, that's right. That's where that stemmed from. So yeah, that's the breaking news.
What do you guys think over in the comments? I see Rage. What's he talking about here? Not if the NFL blocks the purchase, since Papa Khan owns the Jags and Tony is the chief football strategy officer. The NFL could deny the purchase. Listen. No, because as much as you think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are more important than what the UFC brings to ESPN, sorry, man. Jacksonville's just one team. I don't care what Shad Khan says.
What I'm saying though, don't they have a contract with ESPN? So Monday Night Football has a contract with ESPN, so there could become issues at that point. But like at the same time, I don't know how there could be issues in that way, because WWE would either be looking to move off of Mondays, which would give even more viewers to Monday Night Football, or it'll stay the same, which it has been that way for however many years. Like when did Monday Night Football actually start to begin?
Oh,
like
Monday Night Football, I remember it at least 94, 93. I remember that.
So like it's been that way. It's been that way forever, man.
Yeah.
So like I don't know if there would be an issue with ESPN being bought by, let's say, TKO Group.
Yeah, but what we're saying, I'm just reading the comments. What we're saying is, if ESPN was to buy or to get bought by TKO Group, it wouldn't conflict, because if they owned it, then they would move Monday Night Raw to either Tuesday or Thursday. That's what I'm saying. There's no like move Monday Night Raw if you own it, move it. And make sure there's 2.7 million people watching Raw on a Tuesday night. You know what I mean? Instead of 1.2 watching it because Monday Night Football. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that is a legitimate number that it could look at if it was on a different night. You know, Monday Night Football is just so popular. And I also understand not looking at it through like the narrow scope of Monday Night Football, because it is really only around for what is it? Is it 21 weeks? Is that
Yeah.
what football is?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So like it's only around for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So moving your entire network and losing on that viewing habits of like wrestling fans. We talked about this last time. Moving away from Mondays is just breaking the viewing habits that we've built up for over the years. Like every Monday since 2005, I've watched WWE Monday Night Raw. And I'm sure in many ways, you know, like whatever era you started watching it or whatever year you started watching it, it was the same for you. Every Monday rolls around, it's Monday Night Raw. And if you can't watch it live, you're going to tape it in some way. And if you can't tape it, you're going to catch up on the results online or something like that, right?
Yep.
Like you're always used to Monday rolling around and it's Monday Night Raw. It's why I struggled to stay up to date with SmackDown when they started moving around the days.
Thursdays,
growing up-
Tuesdays.
Yeah, like growing up, I know they had changed it to like Thursdays growing up and stuff like that. But like it was always Friday night SmackDown for me, like
Yep.
at least how I remember it. And when it became Tuesday night SmackDown Live, it's like, okay, I can get used to that because it's just Monday and then Tuesday. You're just watching back-to-back wrestling shows. And if you watch NXT on Wednesdays, you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you'd be done, right?
Yeah.
Till the weekend. But then when they moved it back to the Fridays, it's just like all over the place. I got used to it on Tuesdays, and then I
Yeah.
got used to it on Fridays again. So it takes time, right?
Of course.
To get used to viewing something on a different day. It's wrestling, and I don't know. At this point, it feels like we're watching wrestling at 8 p.m. every single day anyways. So it wouldn't be too different.
To be honest, there was just a quick question. Yes, there is going to be, well, I don't know about Con, but I will be doing NXT tonight. I don't know. Con, are you doing NXT tonight?
That's the game plan.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. So, yeah, we
the game
both are doing NXT tonight. So there's your answer. Con, let's get into another final episode, and let's talk about War Games.
War Games.
First off,
Hey.
Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
Pierce.
Yeah. Okay. So out of all the people who have said War Games before, where does he rank? Is he number one? Does he beat Regal? Because that was pretty impressive.
Nobody beats Regal. Number two. I think
Okay,
Adam
number
Pearce.
two.
Here's the best part about Adam Pearce. We talked about this in his dynamic as a general manager. He can be funny, he can be quirky, but he can also be serious. And he gave us that last night. He finally snapped last night. I'm sick of your shit. I'm done with this. And this is the part of everyone saying, oh my God, it's rinse and repeat every single Monday night, blah, 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 Judgment Day versus Jay and Cody and all these guys. Yeah, there's your answer. Rinse
Thank
and
you.
repeat. Triple H is the king of long-term storytelling. He is the king of it. So everyone's saying, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Yeah. We're going into Survivor Series.
Yeah.
It's rinse and repeat from September on.
Yeah. And like people's main issue with this is that this has been going on since post WrestleMania. You know, like that in many ways, that some sort of form of Cody and the Judgment Day and Sammy and the Judgment Day. Like this has been going on for a long time. So I get people's frustration. But last night on Monday Night Raw, and yeah, that might date the video a little bit, but when we watched the big brawl, the setup to War Games on Monday Night Raw, it felt like an Attitude Era ending.
Yes.
Everybody coming out, fighting, setting up a big match. To me, that's what wrestling is like all about. That excitement, the crossing of stories eventually, when you have the big segment that results in a big-time matchup announcement. And to me, they nailed it on Raw.
Absolutely.
They absolutely crushed it. And yeah, it's a story that's been going on for the better part of 7 months. I get it. It's been lasting a long time. But isn't that the type of matches you want to finish in War Games?
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
that's long-term booking.
Yeah, exactly. There's two main events of the year where the stories end. WrestleMania and Survivor Series.
Mhm.
And that is the culmination of a multi-group feud. And then it's also the start of the road to WrestleMania in my mind.
It is.
Because you
Yep.
get that little hint of the next feud. And like you said in our other video, we could have Drew added into the face group of and turn on Seth Rollins, like Dakota Kai and what's her name?
Tegan Knox.
Tegan Knox happened in NXT for that War Games, right? So you could have something like that, and there's your story of Drew and Seth running it to WrestleMania potentially, or at least to the Rumble.
Or at least to Rumble, yeah. Like,
So
especially like if we're focusing on this broken back of Rollins, like that's got to come into play truly at some point. It's gonna break him. Like he's not gonna be able to continue on, and almost like how Orange Cassidy in AEW was just broken towards the end of his world title run.
Yeah.
Or not world title, the international title.
Yeah.
He was broken, and that was the story. The story right here with Rollins is that he is slowly but surely being broken by every opponent he faces.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Royal Rumble could be the direction we go right there. But we do have that War Games match. So just to kind of bring it all together, the War Games match as it sits today is the Judgment Day versus Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and
Seth.
Seth. Thank you. So that's pretty good. But 4v4. Or do you think we get 5v5? Because you mentioned Drew McIntyre potentially coming in.
I mentioned Drew McIntyre to kind of piggyback of the conversation that we had in a previous video or a future video or as of the recording of this video. But I think it stays 4v4. The only way it goes to 5v5 is what you said, and I'll let you continue it after I say it, is if Rhea is able to recruit Drew.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Finally. Now that's the only way I see it, because obviously then we need a fifth for the faces.
Yeah. So like that's I'm going to throw one other thing out there, and I don't know if it would work, but part of me wonders if they're going to do something with Rhea Ripley being involved in this War Games match. We have yet to see a cross-gender. Now, it's a little more far-fetched. I see your face right there. It's probably not going to happen, but if we could find a lady to join on the other side, I know they just took Becky Lynch out, so that's probably not going to happen, but would there be anybody that could match up to Rhea inside of War Games? Because like Becky was the only one that came to mind.
The only one
who could.
The only one that would make sense just because of their feud from NXT is Raquel. But I think if you were to put up a poster of War Games and put Raquel Rodriguez in there, it would be like, oh, where's Waldo? That's how I would feel about it. It's like, who's the odd one out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense. And Zoe Stark doesn't make sense. And
exactly.
Again,
like that's what I'm saying. Becky Lynch on paper would be the only one that could make sense. They've teased a little bit of Rhea Becky. They could hype up Becky Rhea some more along the way, but they just took Becky Lynch out with a concussion angle. So, and that's not happening. That just simply isn't going to happen.
And
so
we also
the other option,
we also have Zoe versus Rhea for the women's title or the world title.
Oh, yeah, I guess that was officially booked, wasn't it?
Yeah,
so,
it was
that's
booked.
not going down then. It's not going down then. All right, so it won't be Rhea joining there.
Yeah.
If it's Drew, though, joining potentially the Judgment Day for this, on the other side, maybe a certain Randy Orton coming back.
Maybe a certain Viper.
Maybe.
That's the way I see it. And unfortunately, this is the worst part about having the internet as a wrestling fan in this day and age. My favorite dirt sheet representative in Sean Ross Sapp basically already confirmed that Randy Orton will be returning at Survivor Series. So for me, it's the only angle that makes sense as a face. You cannot, as much as it is Randy Orton. Now, take this as a grain of salt. 95% of the time, when a wrestler has been gone for the better part of a year and a half, you think, oh, okay, they have to come back as a face. But it is the Viper.
Randy.
It is Randy. So, but no, Randy Orton has to come back as a face. So, and Cody and Randy have a lot of history.
Well, like, I mean, if we're talking about he has to come back as a face, there's one person he could come back as a heel against, and that is Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And if they are looking for a little feud for Cody to bridge the gap between now and the Royal Rumble, or if, hell, you were saying in another video that Cody Rhodes could get screwed over in a Royal Rumble match, it could be Randy Orton, like we talked about Solo Sikoa potentially being the guy to screw over Cody Rhodes inside of the Rumble, but could be Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton at Mania for all we know, right? Like if they choose to bring in The Rock somehow against Roman Reigns, they need another match for Cody, but it's still probably Cody versus Roman. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's there's some interesting plays right there for War Games. Now, who wins? Judgment Day, do they walk out with the dub as the unit, or do the baby faces finally conquer the evil group? Because that feels like the better play. The baby faces finally winning, right?
Run it back to last year. The heels won last year in dominance. In dominance. And if you think about it, the last 2 War Games that we've had a united faction. Last year, it was the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. Okay? And now we have the Judgment Day versus Seth, Cody, Jay, and Sammy. A bunch of egos. A bunch of egos.
Yeah.
And just remember, there is that little tie of, is Jay still trustworthy? You know, and if they bring, say, God forbid, we go the other way, like we just said, we bring Drew into the face. Drew wants nothing to do with Jay.
Yeah.
He's already made that evident. Drew wants nothing to do with Jay. He kind of doesn't trust Sammy. There's nothing really he has against Cody, but he's already got his feud with Seth. There's your heel turn for Drew.
That's exactly what I was thinking when it came to War Games. Like, if the 5th final person on Team Babyface is Drew, and we somehow put somebody else over on the Judgment Day, like, I don't know who that heel could be going on over there, but that's the way you write yourself out of this. It's the way you write yourself out of a corner with all your biggest baby faces going up against this group. You have Drew turn on somebody, Seth, Cody, Jay, someone, Sammy. Have him turn inside of the cage, very reminiscent of Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox, and boom, you have a mega heel in Drew McIntyre. Advantage goes to the Judgment Day, and it makes sense why they win. Because in my mind right now, there is no reason for the baby faces to lose unless you have a new feud coming out of it. Because why wouldn't the baby faces finally beat Judgment Day, right? In that type of scenario, right? Unless you have somebody screw one of the baby faces over. In my mind,
there is still one other idea that we haven't talked about, and it's the full-fledged loyalty of JD McDonough. And he is still, like, there was actually a comment the other night on Monday Night Raw. JD was wearing a Damian Priest shirt, and he goes, "Did you actually buy that?" And there was it was just a little, but the thing is, like your buddy in the UK does the videos of what did you miss? A lot of people would have missed that, and that was actually a bigger part of the story than what you actually believe if you want to look into it. JD has still not been fully accepted into the Judgment Day. He's just kind of that lingering jester that kind of just follows like a lost puppy, you know? So,
and I wonder at some point if the Judgment Day is going to exile him. Like, just literally Damian, Finn Damian's had enough, tells Dom, you're beating him up, Finn beat. But then Finn's like questioning, hey, this is my friend. This is my, like, I've mentored him. Like, am I doing the right thing here by beating him up or whatever? So, like, there's some levels to the Judgment Day storyline right now. But I think the Judgment Day, in the end, needs the win as the unit at War Games. And the final image should be Judgment Day standing tall over top of the baby faces, but I need a new level to the story for one of the baby faces, and I need a reason why they're going to lose that match.
Do me a favor. I know you got Wikipedia up right there by you, but look up the history of War Games and how many times have the face won a War Games match? Because I do believe it is a predominantly dominant heel victory match.
All right, so we'll go with we'll go backwards from like the most recent.
Of course,
Until like, we're not going all the way back until 1987, but recently we saw the Bloodline defeat the Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens. We saw the baby faces in the women's division, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Mia Yim defeat Becky Lynch defeat Damage Control, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
So babyface team won there. NXT 2.0 beat Team Black and Gold. But I think that was a combination of faces and heels throughout the entire matchup. We saw Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray, Raquel Gonzalez, and Cora Jade defeat the heels, Toxic Attraction and Dakota Kai. The Undisputed Era defeated Team McAfee back there in NXT, so heels won that one.
Yep.
Team Candice was a babyface team. Oh no, she was a heel at that time, wasn't she? Candice, Dakota, Raquel, and nope, never mind.
They were faces.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the women's, it's normally face that what we're seeing, but go with the men's because I'm looking back at WCW days.
Yes, WCW has got a lot of heels winning that.
Yeah, that's where.
And I mean, obviously, it's tough to know exactly where they were if they were baby faces or heels at the time. Looking back at these results, but from just looking at the names, there's some where Dusty Rhodes is the winner. There's some where the Road Warriors are winners, and I know they were just predominantly baby faces.
Yeah.
So like that, there is some baby face teams. So to be perfectly honest with you, dude. A lot of Dusty Rhodes wins here, and the Road Warriors.
Didn't
so, like,
Dusty create War Games? Like, wasn't it Dusty who created it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, it does have a lot of baby faces winning because it is like used as the final blow off for a big feud, right? And usually you want the good guys coming out ahead, but in WWE at least it's 50-50 more so than anything.
See, I personally think the Judgment Day need this to culminate all the negativity that Judgment Day get. My biggest thing is from the start, after Edge left, Judgment Day is a horrible faction. Blah, blah, blah. This negative about Judgment Day. This. Mm-hmm. Does anybody realize like how good the Judgment Day actually are? Like,
fantastic.
Like, it is one of, up until recently, where they had to say, okay, Rhea Ripley is predominantly the leader of the Judgment Day. They never had to say that. It was a full group that took care of each other like a family. And now, obviously, there's that little cracks here and there, which you have in good stories with factions. But really, the Judgment Day are one of the best factions we've seen, and I'll say this, in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, man. And I don't think that's a shock to say that at all. Like there's been some factions, but there hasn't been like a group of 4, like truly, until Triple H took over. Like, yeah, the blood, just hit myself in the face with my string right there. The bloodline, was built up under Vince McMahon. Like that's still a Vince McMahon story and an origination right there. But the Judgment Day is a Triple H, like, I think it started under Vince, but Triple H turned it into what it is today.
Absolutely.
And like that makes sense. Triple H loves factions.
Yes.
D-Generation X, Evolution, The Authority, right off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. Not even the McMahon Helmsley regime, nothing like that. Like he's just all into factions, so it makes sense that he's got these great factions coming to WWE and making use of them, right? So yeah, Judgment Day, great faction.
Yeah. So I personally, if I was to make an outcome for War Games, stay on topic here, I'm picking the Judgment Day to win this, but with some controversy.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
Here's another one. Dude, for some reason, it just popped in my head, and I can just visualize it. Imagine something happens where they have an injury to Sammy, perfect one.
Okay.
Sammy's jumped in the back. Circa, who got jumped? And it was Mick Foley got sent out the ring with Sheriff Austin. Remember that? Who was it? Test got knocked out. Test got knocked out. Sami Zayn's laid out, knocked out in the back. Oh, we need a fourth. We need a fourth for the faces. Drew McIntyre joins.
Oh, okay.
Remember how Kevin Owens was the surprise in NXT? We need a surprise entrance. Oh, Drew McIntyre here to save the day, squashes everything, and then right at the final pin, Claymore to Seth Rollins, and sneaky Dominic Mysterio gets the pin.
Oh, man. Yo, you know what? If the final image is Dominic Mysterio pinning Seth Rollins inside of War Games, I'm here for it, because I think that Dominic Mysterio at some point should be in the world title conversation. Not saying to win the thing, but have a match, and to have a pay-per-view match, because the heat that guy brings is insane. And also, let's just give Dominic Mysterio his flowers. He's been really good lately in NXT. Like his in-ring work has jumped tenfold. He is so good these days.
But yeah, with the creative on that one, there's your broken dreams right there. There's your broken dreams right there. And on that note, Con, guys, everyone, let us know in the comments, was there some booking ideas that you would love to see? Do you guys see it running another way? Who do you have winning at WarGames? Let us know in the comments, and always don't forget to like, subscribe, and put the bell on for all notifications that are straight shoot. Con, until next time. Yeet. All right, guys. So
had to get the yeet.
Had to get the yeet in there. Had to get the yeet in there. All right, guys. So for everyone that is still here on the live, Con and I are going to stay on for a little bit, and we are going to answer some questions. Maybe we'll find another topic to jump into while the questions are coming. So feel free to put some comments, put some questions in the chat. We are going to stay on. What are we at? We're at 93 minutes here of recording, so we're gonna stay on probably for another 20 minutes. Is that fair, Con?
Yeah, that sounds good, as long as the chat is moving and we have a healthy conversation going. That sounds great. So
go ahead.
Look, so just reading back through these, so Tharuka, I cannot pronounce that last name, but thanks for the comment. Says,
Eparachi?
God, I need the baby faces to win at WarGames so this never-ending feud ends. And like, that is fair, man.
It is
like,
fair,
it has
very
been going on a long time.
Yeah, very, very fair.
Like, the ending of Raw has, as much as I enjoyed Raw this past week, it has been similar to that for a long time, but like, they never had everybody out there, right? And that's what last week was all about. They finally had everybody coming down, but the fact that we've seen Judgment Day and then Sammy and Kevin for a while, and then we saw Judgment Day and Sammy and Cody and Sammy and whoever, and now we got Cody and Jay versus Judgment Day. So like, I get it. It does need to end, and I think WarGames is the perfect time for it to end.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But obviously, like, I still think there's so much more to be discussed in this storyline. As much as it has run its course, it's been almost 2 years. I just feel that there's so much more that they could do. Like, I know I hate to say this, and I know you said something about a cross gender match between Rhea and somebody getting into the WarGames. I still think Rhea and Dominic need to break up.
Ooh, now, I think you got to keep that going until there's like a legitimate like outcome that you can see. Because like, let's run it today. Okay, let's say if he broke up, and you might have an outcome here, so I'll throw it back to you in a sec. But let's say they broke up today. What's the direction for Dominic Mysterio? What's the direction for Rhea Ripley?
Here's the thing. I'm not saying today. I'm saying there's more to tell for Judgment Day. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
First off, you want a fantasy book? Let's dive down the rabbit hole. Let's dive down the rabbit hole. When does Buddy Murphy's contract end? At AEW.
Oh my God.
No. Hold on. You want to go down the rabbit hole?
I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. When does Buddy Murphy's and Aleister Black's contract end in AEW? I'm gonna say 2024. They've been there for a few years, about four years. How long?
Buddy Matthews signed a 5-year contract with AEW in 2022.
Shit.
So 5 years.
Okay. Yeah. So that goes out. That goes out the window. But I would say, okay. What about somebody from Rhea's past comes back, and they get that segment of Rhea bumping into them in the backstage? Who could they bring in to make Rhea kind of second guess what's going on with Dom? And then Dom starts getting like the young kid in a relationship starts getting super. Oh, the Jey Uso thing here. The Jey Uso thing. The Jey Uso throwing some love towards Rhea like he has.
Yeah.
What's
okay.
mommy? What's going on? What's going on? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Mommy, who are you texting? Nobody. Don't worry about it. And all you see is Rhea's phone just sitting on the couch. And it pops up like Jay's image type thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeet.
yeet.
Huh.
You know, but no, it's just one of those ones. Like I
Just
really.
the meme of him going.
Did you see? Did you
That's
see
all he
Seth
sends to
Rollins
her
do the
every
yeet?
day at 9 a.m. Just.
Did you see Seth Rollins do the yeet last night?
I did.
That
Yeah.
was good. That was
That
good.
was great.
All right. What
He
about
almost hit himself in the head with the microphone when it came back down.
Yeah, he did.
Threw
That
it
was
so high up
hilarious.
in the air.
But yeah, so back to my original point. There's so much more that we can do with breaking up the Judgment Day instead of just, them losing at War Games and then imploding on themselves. That's where my point on this is. We also had.
I got a good one right here
Okay.
from Bailey. It says, could you see Sami Zayn winning the Royal Rumble? He's been getting that big singles push this past few weeks, maybe dethrone Seth at Mania.
No.
I don't see it, but I don't hate it either. Like, I would mark out for it. If Sami Zayn won the Royal Rumble, I would be thrilled.
I think that would be one of the biggest pops since Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement.
Yeah, like it would be a great moment, and we all were behind Sami Zayn a year ago, like thoroughly behind. So he was in the bloodline at that point doing all his Uzi stuff, right?
That's true.
So like I get it. I get it. That could be a good one, but like it's probably not going to happen.
Sami Zayn.
Who do you think beats Rhea? That's a good one.
I hate to say it, Nia Jax.
When do you do that?
I don't know, but listen. Okay. The way I envision somebody that holds a title, they have to be marketable, right? That eliminates Raquel. Raquel is not marketable. She's marketable. She's marketable to one area of the U.S. I don't find her.
You don't think a big gal like that is not marketable?
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't think Raquel is marketable. What is she? Sell me on Raquel. I'm asking you right now in the chat so everyone can listen. Somebody sell me on why Raquel is the next face and women's world champion.
Face? I don't think she's good as a face. I think Mrs. Smiles' true potential is as a heel.
Okay.
But I think as a heel, she is marketable as hell. She's big, she's strong, she's got a different moveset, and she's almost like a bull in a china shop is kind of like her whole presentation. I think we're just missing the aggression from her. She's smiling too much. I've said that since she debuted on the main roster. What happened to the rough and tough Raquel from NXT? That's marketable. This Mrs. Smiles, you're 100% right, is marketable to one demographic. Yeah. Rough and tough Raquel, marketable to everybody because it's a big, aggressive girl who kicks ass. How is that not? That's her character.
She needs to lose the smile. She needs to lose the flexing the back. She needs to lose the whole bouncy. You know what she reminds me of when she enters for her, like when she comes out for her entrance? She reminds me of Alexa Bliss in the cheerleader costume back in NXT. That's how unmarketable I see Raquel Rodriguez. I don't see it. Put her back in leather pants and kind of like Rhea's gear. Put her back in that gear. Wipe the smile. Forget how big your back is. Come out and punch somebody in the face like Nia Jax did to Becky Lynch. Seriously, that is the only way she gets over.
Yeah, like I'm saying as well. Like it's not as a babyface. Or it could be a babyface, but it needs to be a badass babyface. Yeah. I just think back to like her in NXT. Like she had it going for her, and they figured out what that character was going to be. And there's a reason why her matches were really, in my opinion, I don't know if you felt this way, but were like some of the best matches the women's division put on. Yeah. That run with Raquel was surprisingly good. Yeah. Like it wasn't just good. It was from the moment that she had her War Games match and she stood out in War Games to when she won the championship and onwards. Like it was fantastic. But you're right. Need to lose the smile, need to lose whatever that back flex thing is, and just go out there and be an ass kicker because that's what she is. She's an ass kicker.
Yeah, it's kind of, and the thing is, we're very blessed right now with Rhea Ripley's character because Rhea, she's a heel. But who gets the biggest pop who got the biggest pop in that Fatal 5-Way?
Oh, Rhea.
Who gets the biggest pop when the Judgment Day comes out? Like,
Rhea.
nobody cares that the Judgment Day is a heel faction when Rhea's out there. Judgment Day is basically a bunch of tweeners at that point when Rhea is in the ring.
And then Dom speaks.
Yeah, but then they want to hear Rhea on the mic. They want to see Rhea take control. Who doesn't like a woman who's in control, right? Like, it's one of those ones where you're blessed. You could have her lose to a face. You could have her lose to a heel. It wouldn't matter. But that's why I'm saying give it to Nia. As much as it hurts to say it. Give it to Nia because it's going to be a transitional title. You could potentially bring back Alexa in about 6 months. And there's your feud for Nia.
Okay. Yeah.
There's Liv Morgan. There's Zoe Stark, who deserves to show up and actually go. And she proved herself. There's 4 women there, plus Rhea Ripley and potentially Becky Lynch when she returns from this concussion injury thing, that you have that can go against Nia Jax, that all have issues with Nia Jax, have all got history with Nia Jax, and then you have to worry about your one ace in the hole, which is Cora Jade potentially coming to the main roster.
You think Cora Jade's the one ace in the hole, eh?
I think Cora Jade
you're
is
very high on Cora Jade.
I've
seen that.
I think Cora Jade has the perfect mix between AJ Lee, Saraya, and Alexa Bliss.
Okay, interesting. I haven't been sold on Cora Jade yet. I think the only time that I truly said wow from Cora Jade was the War Games match when she was in it and she hit that big swanton off the top of the cage through the table. That's, to me, she has been a fine performer and I see the hype, but she hasn't had the in-ring performance yet to make me say she is going to be on the level of an AJ Lee or someone like that. So do I think she's got all the potential in the world? Yeah. Do I think she's still very green? Yeah. I think she's got a long way to go still, but she's young, right?
Yeah.
Like she's what, 24?
I think this is going to be a big shout. I think she has more potential than Jade Cargill. That is, I know it's a big shout.
It's a big shout.
But here's the thing. She has, the only place she's ever been is the Performance Center. No, she was in AEW for like half a second. But she's learned everything and been able to erase all the bad that she's learned from the indies and all that kind of stuff. I just think there is Jade Cargill's going to be a superhero. She's going to be a 10-time women's champion. We all know it. And the reason I see it in the chat being said that Jade Cargill could be the one to come in and take care of Rhea. No, if Jade Cargill's going anywhere, she's going NXT or she's going to SmackDown. Like there's the SmackDown roster the SmackDown women's roster is made for Jade Cargill. You have your feuds with Charlotte. You have your feud with Asuka. You have your feud with Bianca. You have your feuds with who am I missing? I'm missing somebody on. You have your feud with Bayley. You have like the best, most veteran women.
Yep.
On the SmackDown roster, which is what they've done deliberately. You don't need Jade Cargill to go with all the women that are going to be there in 10 years because Jade Cargill's that rookie that they look at.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So
she does fit on both rosters, though, the way that it's built, like the size of Monday Night Raw's roster, what we just saw in that Fatal 5-Way, that's like, if you talk about like somebody going through and beating up like the entire women's division and just making a name for themselves, going through a Nia Jax, going through a Raquel Rodriguez, going through a Shayna Baszler, going through a Zoe Stark, like those are some big names to bring her up along the way. And also, interesting little point right there. You saying like her going over to SmackDown will allow her to beat like all the people who aren't going to be there in 10 years. But think of the stories that we could create for the next 10 years if she goes to Monday Night Raw.
That's true.
Honestly, any of the 3 brands are fine for her. She's going to be a star. I can't agree with that piping hot take that Cora Jade is going to be the bigger star out of the 2, but I understand what you're saying. I think in-ring work, she's going to be the better in-ring worker. Like Cora Jade is going to be leaps and bounds above her eventually in the ring. Presence-wise, money-making-wise, star power, I think that has to go to Jade Cargill because like we've already seen the draw power that she has with the most viewed social media post in WWE history with her arriving to the Performance Center.
Hey, you can arrive
yeah.
to the Performance Center and do all you want, but when you get the Goldberg treatment, then it gets, in this day and age, just remember the 90s were great because you didn't have the internet to record what was happening, right? The 90s were great. You didn't know Goldberg didn't compete 380 million times and defend his title every time. You didn't know that. It was literally like 100 times. Jade Cargill got that treatment at AEW, and guess what? Nobody cared. So you need to bring Jade Cargill in as her own entity, or you put her in with a manager that can talk for her.
Yeah. The manager part would be huge for her, and I've been trying to go up and down the roster, thinking like who could be that person to speak next to her, and like I don't really know who that person would be. My mind immediately went to Zelina Vega, and because Vega can talk so well, but like she's also beloved right now as a babyface, right? Like people, anytime
She's
you
a
throw
better
Zelina
heel.
Vega in the ring, it just, she's gotten herself over as a face now to the point that I think it would be a regression going back to being heel, or a heel manager. But she can talk. Anybody else though that comes to mind that could be like that undercard wrestler who doesn't get featured a ton, who would elevate their stock? Like, remember when Sami Zayn became the manager for Cesaro and Nakamura? Like he was,
oh my God,
like that was pandemic era. Yeah. Like, so when Sami Zayn wasn't really wrestling anymore, they put him as a heel alongside of two guys and let him talk. And yeah, that took a year and a half of doing that, but he got himself over to the point where now he's one of the biggest baby faces in the company.
That's true.
Zelina Vega could go down a similar path, but like I would be worried of turning her heel just because it took so long to get her over as the face that she is now, right? But chat, any other names that you guys think inside of the women's division that would do really well? Like we've already seen Maxine kind of come into that role as a manager, a good talking manager, and getting her reps in, if you will, on Monday Night Raw. So she wouldn't be the person, but somebody's got to be there.
Tiffany Stratton's going to be a huge one that they say, but Tiffany Stratton's still too green. She's only 2 years in. Like, like the people need to understand. Yeah, she's got that presence on the NXT roster, but she's only 2 years in. Like, it's first off, it's crazy how good she is.
Yeah, it's
crazy. Like, it's almost like the Logan Paul thing all over again, but just in the women's division.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go to WWE.com here and just go quickly through and see if there's anybody that just comes to mind with the women's division.
Sadly, Bailey, Ivy, I think is too small for that dominance of. This is why they need a women's mid-card title. This is why they need it.
Gosh, what's Carmella up to these days?
She's pregnant.
She's pregnant. Well, NXT run for Jade Cargill. I mean, I wouldn't put it past a Carmella Jade Cargill combo if Carmella was a manager.
That would be amazing.
Just speaking.
That would be amazing.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
People do care about Zelina Vega. I think she's one of the most over females in the company right now. They just don't utilize her right. Listen, Zelina Vega gets some of the best social media action. She gets the best reactions when she's actually on screen. Like, I remember when I was in Montreal and Zelina came out and people were chanting Zelina. And if you actually go back and watch the SmackDown before Elimination Chamber, they don't have the audio for Zelina in there. And the crowd was chanting for Zelina.
That's cool. You were there for that too, eh? I didn't know you went down to Montreal for that. So yeah, we were both in the building for SmackDown and for Chamber.
I was front row.
You're front row. Wow.
I was front row.
What a night, eh, man? What a night.
I was holding a top dollar ain't no flop sign. I was holding a top dollar ain't no flop sign. I actually saw Bray and Bo get put under the ring. They went under the ring right in front of me. And
that's really cool.
that was the night I went out drinking with Hit Row and Drew and Karrion Kross. But
damn, if only I knew you back then, because we were in Montreal as well, looking for a place to go drinking.
Dude, that was. Do you know where Jet Nightclub is? Okay,
no
so
clue.
Jet Nightclub was where they all went, but it was kind of funny because when I went to the hotel, because Dalla said, "Hey, meet me at the hotel," told me where they were. I was getting a key. Dalla said, "Just get a key to the room. Come on up." And I was standing next to Riddick Moss and Emma, and they had recognized me from the front row because I was talking a bunch of shit to them. They told me go fuck myself. I was like, "You guys had a great show. Go fuck yourself." Okay, off I go.
Were they actually offended?
Oh, I think they were. I was
Really?
pretty brutal to Riddick, because that was when he got the IC title match. No, he got a title match that night. He was the main event.
Yes. Yeah. Like the dark match, right?
No. The dark match was Charlotte and Sonya, and then LA and Bray. Those were the two dark matches.
It was. You're right. It was Gunther versus Riddick.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And
yeah, you're right.
I was just being like, "Why are you in this match? You don't deserve to be here." And Emma's literally standing at the apron looking over her shoulder at me like this, because I am just going after her fiance, basically. And even like,
okay, so yeah, I understand why maybe they were a little offended. Like, you don't deserve to be in this match, says drunk Teshk front row.
Oh, dude, even Trinidad flag guys looking at me like, bro.
Dude's a straight up savage out there.
Oh, I was pretty bad. I even tried to hustle a trade with a green shirt guy for an autograph. Like, so you know how like when you get the front row package, you get the chair and you get the autograph photo and the miniature belt and all that kind of stuff. Well,
I never sat front row, so I can't say I know.
Okay, so like that little package up there, the Drew McIntyre thing you can see, that's from that show. And gotcha. I was sitting with green shirt guy, and he had his sitting up against the barricade, and I saw the bag drop down, and it was Dark Alexa is the autograph that he got. And I looked at him and I'm like, bro, like I got Drew, which Drew was big at that time, and he was still coming off of the Clash at the Castle thing and all that kind of stuff. And I said to him, I was like, would you trade me? He goes, I don't have Drew. And I'm like, okay, trade me. Like, I would take Dark Alexa all day long. And he goes, I don't have this version of Alexa yet. And I'm like, no. But yeah, I'm super happy I got it because I met Drew that night. So I got the whole,
so cool.
It all came full circle. So that was pretty good. I don't love really LWO. Legado del Fantasma in NXT way better. I understand that, but it's one of those.
They weren't,
but no, it's one of those. It's one of those ones where when you come to the main roster, you have to find a spot and you have to own that spot. And you got put in the LWO. You probably were asked, "Do you want to be in this faction?" and rebrand it, and you chose something, but you just haven't made enough of it. And that's everybody in the LWO. That goes from Santos all the way down to Legado del Fantasma. I think the only person that could actually leave that, the only two people that could leave that group and still be over is Ray and Zelina. Because they can just fit into anything else.
Well, Carlito could too. Like, Carlito could leave.
I totally forgot about Carlito.
Yeah, like it's the LWO. You guys who've been watching me on stream for a long time, you guys know how much I make fun of it. How at the start of it, everybody trying to go LWO, like it just nobody was buying into it for the longest of time, and they finally got slightly over to the point where people chanted. So like, at least they're chanting it now. But to the comment there saying that LWO or Legado del Fantasma was better in NXT. They weren't, okay? Like their in-ring work was not as good. Their stories were okay. It was mainly the story with the family that got people interested in LWO.
Yeah.
For the longest of time, Santos Escobar was just there on NXT, and people were like, how can we get Santos over? How can we get him to that next level? How do we present him in a good way? He was not like this golden goose down in NXT by any means. And Legado del Fantasma was not this protected group by any means. He hovered around the Cruiserweight title for a bit. I think he went around the North American title for a little bit and then got called up.
Yep.
So how is that better in NXT? Right now being associated with Rey Mysterio, being associated with Carlito, having Zelina Vega in the group, who is far better than what's her name? Elektra Lopez ever could have been with Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah.
You know, like that's it's night and day. The LWO is a better faction. The LWO will be remembered, like because it's already an established group. Like people will remember this. I don't know how many people are going to be talking about Legado del Fantasma from NXT in 10 years' time. I don't know how many people.
To be honest, when they started doing the releases, I actually thought Legado del Fantasma was going to get released.
I mean, they're good. Like the thing that we got to give them is that they're good enhancement talents because they can work.
Absolutely,
they're so good in the ring. Like watch their work next time, guys, because their selling is top tier. Their movement is top tier. They're never late for spots. They're always there. Santos, in many ways, is the slowest one of the group. He moves at like a 0.85 speed as opposed to 1 speed. You know, he's just a little slower in that ring. But like, I keep calling him Joaquin Wilde. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Is it Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza? Is that the name of them?
Something like that.
I got mixed it up because like down in NXT they had different names, but whatever their names are, they're so quick in the ring. Like that's the reason why they got brought over from Impact Wrestling, because like they are that good. And like, yeah, they're never going to be top tier players. They're never going to be the main eventer. They're never going to be, main eventing a WrestleMania, but they're doing their job right.
Yeah.
They're in the perfect position right now. So I'm not surprised they didn't get released. Because like they do a good job.
Yeah.
Cruz del Toro, thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you. That's his name.
All right, guys. Well, if you guys enjoyed this entire 2 hours of live with Straight Shoot, Conman167, and MrTeshk, myself, please let us know in the comments. We are going to probably be doing this every Tuesday to record our content. The one thing is we want you guys to be more engaged with us and give us ideas. So make sure you head over to our Twitter account and give us some suggestions for next week's content. If you see something that happens this week in pro wrestling, and don't worry, it's not just WWE. We do cover a lot of WWE, but there is AEW, there is Impact, and there is a whole lot of free agents that could potentially be a surprise debut in, this small little premium live event called the Royal Rumble. So we could talk about that.
I think we might have to. I think we might have to get into that in another week's episode.
I think that might have to be next week. But guys, like always, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I know there has been a lot of changes over the last year, but I really think that with Con and myself, we have some great things coming forward. DeMarco, Ahmed, Darren, Drew, Rage, JSM, the curret, and Bailey, and everybody else that's stuck with us over the last 2 hours. Thank you so much, and like always,